Welcome to the Sea Level Rise Explorer Long Beach. It's great to have you here. This experience was developed to illustrate the potential impacts of climate change on coastal communities and possible solutions. We hope this experience will help support the community's conversation about how to adapt to a changing climate. Click on this screen to begin. If this is your first time in the experience, select the option I am new here to run the guided experience. Welcome to the beach house on the Long Beach shoreline. Take a look around. You'll see flashing targets on the screen periodically. When you are ready, click on the flashing target to continue. Click on the flashing target, drag the slider, and release it on the other end. The burning of coal, oil, and natural gas all produce greenhouse gases that form a blanket around the Earth. This blanket traps heat, causing global temperatures to rise, which can intensify severe weather patterns but also cause glaciers and ice sheets to melt, seawater to expand, which both raise sea levels. These changes will create major disruptions for our planet and impact coastal communities in many ways. Long Beach is a vibrant and diverse community with a rich history. Residents and visitors enjoy its coastal areas and beaches for a variety of recreational activities. This low-lying area will experience rising sea levels and possibly increased storms, causing more frequent and intense coastal flooding, beach erosion, and eventually permanent inundation by ocean waters in some areas. This could impact coastal property, infrastructure, public safety, and access to these amazing coastal resources. Long Beach is an iconic destination in Southern California enjoyed by millions of people each year. We're going to look at a few locations on the Long Beach Peninsula. Go ahead, click on the flashing target on your left to get started. In this model, you can see the entire peninsula, a mile-long stretch of coast developed in the early 1900s and a popular beach for locals and visitors. Go ahead and use your remote to click on the Extreme Storm button on the screen to see what the projected impacts of an extreme storm could look like today. See that water filling in? Even under current conditions, an extreme storm could cause significant flooding in this area. Now, as we return the model to current sea levels, select the circle on the left side of the scale in front of you and drag it slowly to your right to visualize the impacts of sea level rise in this area. As you drag the circle to the right, you will see a projection of nearly 1 foot to just under 5 feet of sea level rise. While we are uncertain when sea level rise will reach specific levels, it could reach 5 feet by the end of the century. Without action, permanent inundation is expected to happen much sooner. Let's take a closer look at some parts of the peninsula. See the flashing target on your left? Click there. In this model, you can see the northwesternmost part of the peninsula under current sea levels. You can see the Sailing Center, Ocean Boulevard, and the start of the famous Seaside Walk boardwalk. Drag the circle to the right to see what could happen to the neighborhood under various projected sea level rise scenarios. Click on the flashing target on the left to look at Alamitos Park. Alamitos Park sits at the end of the peninsula, overlooking the entrance to Alamitos Bay, a popular boating area. In this model, you can see the tracks from trucks that regularly move the sand from one side of the beach to the other. As you drag the slider to the right, note the vegetated dunes and the jetty that help protect the local beach. Have you ever been in a blimp before? Click the target on your lower left to get an aerial view of the Long Beach Peninsula. Welcome to the Virtual Planet Blimp. You're floating high above the peninsula, overlooking Alamitos Bay. Take a moment to look around you and get your bearings. You can see the community of Naples in front of you, Belmont Shores to the left, and Seal Beach in Orange County to your right. Go ahead and use your remote to select the Extreme Storm button on the screen to again see what the projected impacts of an extreme storm could look like today. Even under current conditions, an extreme storm would cause significant flooding in this area. Now, as we return the model to current sea levels, select the circle on the left side of the scale in front of you and drag it slowly. As you slide the circle, you can see projected impacts of nearly 1 foot and 5 feet of sea level rise with no storm. While we know that sea levels are rising and will eventually inundate this area, we don't know exactly when. So what can be done in Long Beach to protect the community from these impacts? Click on Solutions. The city is developing its first ever climate action and adaptation plan to help the community reduce greenhouse gas emissions and prepare for the impacts of climate change. Climate adaptation is about science, but it also requires vision and imagination. In the scene that follows, you'll see one possible adaptation vision for this area that is imaginary but based on probable flooding projections. Click on Near Term to see what could be done in the next several decades. There are some things we can do in the near term to keep people in their homes as long as possible without limiting our options for the future. One option is to add more sand to the beach and consider hard structures to keep the beach in place for as long as possible. Further, vegetated sand dunes with designated access points can protect homes in place while also providing additional habitat and recreation opportunities for locals and visitors. However, this solution would not provide protection long-term. As sea levels continue to rise, low-lying areas may be permanently underwater. When you are ready, click on Home to return to the beach house. In the long run, the community may choose to relocate infrastructure to get people out of harm's way as sea levels rise, ensuring a Long Beach with abundant coastal access, more biodiverse and resilient, and safer for the community. The goal of this project is to start a dialogue to ensure we can implement near-term solutions and plan for a just and smooth transition at the best possible time, minimizing financial and emotional impacts to the community. Stay tuned for the next phase of this virtual reality project when we visualize long-term solutions for the community. Thank you for using the Sea Level Rise Explorer Long Beach. To learn more about this immersive experience and coastal resilience, visit our websites, nature.org, coastalresilience.org, and virtualplanet.tech.